Hello students, welcome to this session of chemical kinetics. In this session we are going to discuss about the reactions of different orders. That is the zero order reaction, the first order reaction, the second order reaction. So what is the order? It is actually the coefficient to which the molar concentration of the reacting species is raised, right? And it is determined experimentally. So we are going to discuss about the different types of reactions. The reactions are classified on the basis of their order. So let's start our session here, students. So before starting with the reaction of different orders, I would like to tell you that the order of reaction can be an integer, or it can be fractional, even it can be zero, right? And order of reaction is determined experimentally. So these are the two important things about the order of reaction. And the reaction belonging to the same order has got the similar kinetics. Now the reactions of different orders. The chemical reactions are often classified on the basis of kinetics as zero order, first order, second order, even the mixed order or higher order reactions. Now let's start with the zero order reaction. I have told you that a reaction in which rate of reaction is independent of the concentration of reactant. So where the rate of reaction is independent of the concentration of reactant, it is what? It is a zero order reaction. So the rate law, what is the rate of reaction written as? Rate of reaction, this is the instantaneous rate. That is a very small, or the change in concentration of A at any instant of time. This is what? This is the instantaneous rate. And rate of reaction is proportional to the molar concentration of A raised to the power 0. That is, the rate is independent of the molar concentration of A. That is the change in molar concentration of A, or the molar concentration of A. Now K is the constant. An increase in temperature or decrease in temperature is the only factor that can change the rate of zero order reaction. See, the zero order reaction is independent of the concentration of the reactants, and the rate can be changed by what? It can be changed by the temperature only. As the temperature affects the rate of reaction. How come? In a reaction some bonds are broken, some bonds are formed. So temperature has a major role to play there for a reaction to undergo, or for the reaction to, in the rate of the reaction, temperature has one of the major roles. Let's take up some examples. The very first example is photochemical reaction between hydrogen and chlorine. Photochemical means it is taking place in the presence of light. Now what happens? In this case, the reaction is independent of the molar or the pressures of, see here, gases are there. So the pressures are considered. The pressures of the hydrogen and chlorine, right? Because it takes place by the free radical mechanism. In this case, the hydrogen free radical is formed, then it will combine with the chlorine free radical, forming hydrochloric acid, and in each step the free radicals are formed. So this reaction is independent of the molar concentrations, or in this case the pressures of the hydrogen and chlorine gases. The next example is decomposition of N2O on platinum surface. Again, see what is happening. Which surface is taken here? It's the platinum surface, that is a metal surface. And the decomposition of nitrogen monoxide is taking place on this metal surface. So what happens? This N2O gets absorbed on this metal surface and the decomposition takes place. So at one point, say initially this reaction will be the first order reaction, that is rate will be proportional to the molar concentration of N2O raised to the power 1. But once the metal surface is completely filled, that is N2O completely fills the metal surface, right? Once all the metal, all the gas has been absorbed, even if the concentration of N2O is increased, the metal cannot absorb it. That is, gas has been absorbed to the metal surface to the fullest. The rate of reaction becomes independent of the concentration of N2O. Right? See, we have taken this, say this platinum surface is taken, the hot platinum surface. It has got some surface area. Initially what happens, that the concentration of N2O on the metal is less. So what happens, the rate is depends on the concentration of N2O on the metal surface. That is, initially it is a first order reaction. But as the reaction proceeds, what happens, the N2O fills up the surface. It fills up the surface completely. Then even if the concentration of N2O is increased or more of N2O is added, the rate becomes independent of it. Got it? Likewise, there is decomposition of ammonia in the presence of molybdenum or tungsten. Say here also the decomposition of ammonia takes place on the surface of molybdenum. Right? Now, in this case also, initially the reaction obeys the first order kinetics. The rate is proportional to the concentration of ammonia raised to the power 1. But what happens once the metal surface is completely occupied? The rate becomes independent of the concentration of ammonia. Likewise, decomposition of nickel iodide on a gold surface, that is also the zero order reaction. That is, the rate is independent of the concentration of the reactants. Right? So these are few examples of zero order reaction. Now let's take up the first order reaction. In case of zero order reaction, change in concentration of reactants does not affect the rate of reaction. Right? Now in this case, the change in concentration of reactant does not affect the rate of reaction. Whereas in case of first order reaction, what is it? In a first order reaction, the rate of reaction depends upon the concentration of only one reacting species. Say even if there are two, even if there are three, the rate of reaction will depend on the concentration of only one reacting species. That is, a change in concentration of only one reacting species will affect the rate of reaction. Now other reactants can be present, but the change in their concentration will have no effect on the rate of reaction. Right? Like I had given you the hydrolysis of esters. CH3COOC2H5. This is an ester. It is hydrolyzed, forming ethyl alcohol and acetic acid. CH3COOH plus of ethyl alcohol, C2H5OH. Now in this case, the rate is only dependent on the change in concentration of ester and not the change in concentration of water. Right? Like that is, when the rate depends on the change of concentration of only one reacting species, it is a first order reaction. Now in this case, the reaction rate will be equal to Ka to the power 1. right? The coefficient is 1. Whereas in case of zero order reaction, rate is equal to Ka to the power 0. Let's take some examples of first order reaction. Dissociation of N2O5. The rate is dependent on the change in concentration of N2O5, and here also the coefficient is 1. This is the actual coefficient, that is, it is determined experimentally, right? Likewise, the dissociation of ammonium nitride, it is also a first order reaction. The rate of reaction is proportional to the molar concentration of ammonium nitride raised to the power 1. Likewise, decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. This is also a first order reaction. That is, the rate of reaction is proportional to the change in concentration of hydrogen peroxide raised to the power 1. That is, the change in their concentration is affecting the rate. In this case, the stoichiometric coefficient or stoichiometric coefficient is also equal to the actual coefficient. Now in this case, what will happen if the concentration of reactant is doubled? What will happen to the rate? Rate will be also doubled, right? If the concentration of reactant is tripled, the rate will be also tripled. So this is the first order reaction. The radioactive disintegrations. Active disintegrations obeys first order kinetics, or is according to the follows, you can say, first order kinetics. So all the radioactive disintegrations are what? They follow the first order kinetics. That is, the rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of one reacting species. The rate will be doubled if the concentration of the reacting species is doubled. Now let's take up the second order reactions. Now what is a second order reaction? The reaction whose rate depends upon two concentration variables. That is, the change in concentration of two reactants, the change in concentration of two reactants is affecting the rate, or if there is a single reactant, then the coefficient there is 2. Say in this case, the reaction rate is equal to Ka to the power 2. That is, if the concentration of A is doubled, the reaction rate will be quadrupled. So this is a second order reaction. Thus, for a second order reaction involving the reactant A, the reaction rate follows the equation reaction rate is equal to Ka to the power 2. Say if there are two reactants, then the rate will be written as rate is equal to Ka to the power 1 and B to the power 1. That is, the reaction is first order with respect to A and first order with respect to B. That is, the change in molar concentration of A is affecting the rate. Change in molar concentration of B is also affecting the rate. Now the overall order has become doubled, or 2. The overall order is 2. That is 1 plus 1 giving me 2. If the concentration of A is doubled, the rate will be doubled. If the concentration of B is doubled, the rate will be doubled. But in this case, where there is a single reactant and the rate is proportional to the concentration of A square, or the power here is 2, then if the concentration of A is doubled, the rate will be quadrupled. Right? A reaction which involves two reactants A and B is said to be second order if the rate of reaction depends upon two concentration variables. So you have to just remember that when the rate of reaction depends on the two concentration variables, then it is a second order reaction. Now let's take some examples. See the example, hydrogen gas or hydrogen combines with iodine forming HI. In this case, the rate of a reaction is affected by the change in concentration of hydrogen. Here it is a gas, so we'll be taking the pressure, and also on the change in pressure of iodine. So the overall order of the reaction is 2. It is nitrogen monoxide, nitrous oxide, that is NO. NO, it is gas again, it dissociates to give N2O and NO2. In this case, the rate of the reaction is equal to KNO to the power 2. That is, when the concentration of nitrous oxide will be doubled, the rate of reaction will be quadrupled. Now let's take up the molecularity of a reaction. So what is the difference between the order of a reaction and the molecularity of a reaction? Order of a reaction is determined experimentally, first of all. Secondly, order of a reaction can have integral value, it can have it can be fractional, or it can be zero. Whereas molecularity, what is it? Molecularity is not determined experimentally. It is the number of reacting species. See, molecularity of a reaction, a chemical reaction that takes place in a single step, that is, all the reactions which occur in single step are called as elementary reactions. See, here I was telling you about the molecularity, it is the elementary reaction. Molecularity is the number of reacting species in a reaction. Right? Now the reaction can be elementary reaction or a complex reaction. Now what is an elementary reaction? The reaction which takes place in a single step is called as elementary reaction. Whereas the reaction which takes place in 2 or more steps is called as a complex reaction. Now the sequence of steps through which a complex reaction takes place is called what? The reaction mechanism. And each step is an elementary reaction. That is, the reaction which completes in a single step is the elementary reaction, whereas the reaction which takes place in 2 or more steps is the complex reaction. See, this is an example of complex reaction, that is nitrous oxide plus hydrogen is giving nitrogen and water. Why it is a complex reaction? Because it is taking place in these 3 steps. First step is the fast and reversible one. Second step is a slow step. Now the slow step determines the order of the reaction. So what will be the order of this reaction? It will be 2. And what will be the rate law? Rate law is also determined by the rate law expression, that is also determined by the slowest step. So rate will be equal to K N2O2. These are the 2 things here, to the power 1 and H2, like this. And what is the molecularity? In this case, see, the reaction is taking place in 3 steps. So each step will have its own molecularity. See, in the first case, how many reacting species are there? 2. So the molecularity of the first step is 2. The molecularity of the second step is 2. The molecularity of the third step is 2. So in the case of complex reactions, the molecularity of individual steps is determined. Now in a multi-step reaction, only the steps have the molecularities and the reaction as such has no molecularity. That is, complex reactions, they do not have molecularity, or they have no molecularity. Whereas in case of complex reactions, what is the order of the reaction? It is determined by the slow step of the reaction. Now the molecularity of the reaction can be 1, 2 or 3. The reactions with higher molecularity are rare. Why so? Reactions can have molecularity 1, 2, 3. The reactions with molecularity 4 are rare. That is, the reactions with higher molecularity are rare. Why so? This is because, see, if a reaction is going to take place, say the previous reaction, if I am taking NO plus H2O, it was something like that, NO2, it was NO plus H2 gives N2O plus H2O. Now for this reaction to take place, that is for the formation of N2O and H2O, what is required? It is required that the molecules of NO should collide with the molecules of hydrogen. That is, the molecules of nitrous oxide should collide with the molecules of hydrogen. Then only the reaction is possible. Now if the number of molecules increase, the number of types of molecules increase, the possibility of their collision decreases. So that is why the possibility of their collision and formation of products. See, every collision doesn't lead to the formation of a product. Only few collisions will result in the formation of product, and those collisions are called as effective collisions. We'll be discussing about the effective collisions in our later sessions. Now here, in this case, if the number of molecules they increase, or this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if it is going on increasing, the possibility of their collision and formation of product decreases. So that is why the reactions with higher molecularity are rare. Remember, whenever a product is to be formed, the molecules of the reactants the bonds of the molecules of the reactant should be broken, or the molecules of the reactant should collide with each other so that the products are formed. And every collision is not an effective collision, that is, every collision will not lead to the formation of a product. Okay? So this is why the reactions of higher molecularity are rare. See, this is the pictorial representation of what I have said just now. This is a common. See, these are two molecules, they are colliding and forming the product. Now here we have got three molecules which will be colliding and forming the product. So this is less common, and if it's 4, then it becomes rare. That is a collision and formation of product. Their collision, the possibility of their effective collision decreases. So this is rare. Now the total number of molecules, see, molecularity and order of reaction, what is the difference? The total number of molecules or atoms or ions which take part in a reaction as represented by the chemical equation is known as the molecularity. Simple, it is the number of atoms or molecules or ions which are represented by a chemical equation. So you can tell the molecularity of a reaction just by seeing a chemical equation or balanced chemical equation. But it is not possible to predict the order of the reaction. Order of the reaction is determined experimentally. Order of the reaction tells us the reactants whose change in concentration is affecting the rate of reaction, and it is determined experimentally. Right? Order of the reaction can have the integral value or the fractional value or even it can be 0. But molecularity of the reaction cannot be fractional. How can half of an atom or half of a molecule can take part in a reaction? So it is not fractional, first of all. Secondly, the molecularity of the reactions or the molecularity of elementary reactions can be just determined. The molecularity of the elementary reaction is determined, but for the reactions which take place in more than one step or the complex reactions, they have no molecularity. Their individual steps have got the molecularity. Whereas in case of order, the order of the complex reaction is determined by the slow step of that reaction. Now molecularity can never be 0. It can never happen that there is no atom and molecule and no atoms, molecules of the reactants and the product is formed. It can never happen. So molecularity can never be 0, but order can be 0. Molecularity cannot be fractional, but order can be fractional. Molecularity of a complex reaction is how it is determined, the molecularity of the individual step, whereas in case of the order of the reaction is determined by the slow step. So these are some differences between the molecularity and the order of the reaction. There are reactions whose molecularity is 2 and order is 1. Such reactions are called as pseudo-unimolecular reactions. That is, they are having 2 reacting species, but the change in concentration of only one reacting species affects the rate of reaction. So do remember the difference between the molecularity and the order of the reaction. So molecularity is the total number of colliding species leading to the formation of products, and order is the total number of concentration variables in the reaction. That is, the reactant species, the reactants whose change in concentration is affecting the rate of reaction. So this is all about the order and molecularity of the reaction, students. In the next session, we will be discussing various methods to determine the rate of reaction, or which are used to determine the rate law expression for a reaction. So I have told you many times that the rate law expression is determined experimentally, the order is determined experimentally. Now there are certain methods like isolation method, the graphical method, or there is isolation, there is graphical method, there is integrated rate law method also, for determining the order of the reaction and also the rate law expression. So we will be discussing about these methods in our next session. I hope you have enjoyed this session, students, and understood the difference between the molecularity and order. Just go through the text, the concepts will be clear to you. So we'll be meeting in the next session, and we'll be discussing about the isolation method and also the initial rate method for the determination of rate law expression, or for the determination of order of a reaction. So thank you for listening patiently, and do have a nice time ahead.